welcome to episode 25. And today we'd love it if you would leave a comment in the comment box of YouTube and just let us know where you're watching from. Be fun for us to know who our audience is. So if you could do that, that would be fun. And also, just a quick announcement, we're going to be making our episodes every other week now instead of every week, which is better for us and our schedules, and we want to put more time and thought into each lesson. I don't know if you want to say anything more on that.
Yes, it'll be helpful for me to be able to think about it and plan better so that we hope it'll be more of a blessing to you.
Yeah, we are excited about this topic, and it's just something that's near and dear to my heart, and it's about how to help bridge the generational gap with your children and older adults. And so I worked in assisted living for about 6 years as an activity director, and so that was just a main theme even in my job of how do you bridge this generational gap, how do you get older adults to interact well with children, and how do you bring them together. So it's a topic that is needed in our society, and even in the secular world, people are trying to figure out how to do this and how to bring kids in to the lives of the elderly. So we're going to talk about that today, and so we'll get started here.
All right, let's jump right in. You know, you probably noticed that our culture is going in the direction of a peer-dependent and youth-centered and generation gap society, and we don't, as believers, want our children to grow up with that kind of a mindset. So we're going to talk today about the way children normally would be if they weren't trained, wouldn't know how to interact necessarily with older adults, and how we can help our children glean wisdom from those that visit that are older and be a blessing to them. So here we go. Without training, my children, and probably most children, would likely behave when an older adult comes into your home or is around them, where they would most likely either ignore them, not see any reason to pay any attention to them, or want to be. They might be careless. They might run around and bump into them, or make it a little difficult for the older adult to keep from almost being knocked over, or extreme. Sometimes your children can be noisy and running inside the home when older people are a little bit nervous about that, and also making messes that are easy to trip on. So we want to help children. They're active, they're enthusiastic, they're going to be this way. We want to prepare them to be sensitive to how to make it comfortable for the older people that are interacting with their lives. The three things I mentioned, you can think of the acrostic as ICE. It's kind of like feeling a little bit cold and left out if you're out in the ice. And we're going to talk the next acrostic for how you can think about training your children to be a blessing and to gain from their interactions with older people. The first would be train your children to welcome people that come into your home, and especially older people, to come and greet them and smile and show that they're glad that they're there. And then if you know who's coming ahead of time, maybe they are somebody that you're aware of, grew up on a farm, and you can talk to your children and say, your young children, the lady that's coming tonight, she's older, but she grew up on a farm. Wouldn't it be neat to find out what it was like when she was your age and on a farm, and kind of stir in some curiosity and some delight that the child can say, what was it like when you were my age, when you were on a farm? what did you do? And you can kind of train them and prompt them with questions like that ahead of time. And also tell them that this guest might ask them questions. Maybe they'll be interested in what their name is, or how old they are, or what their favorite subject is in school is. And so you can prepare the children, say, they're going to be interested in you too. And so let's make sure you listen to the questions and you can answer them as they come. And also, if your child is old enough, let them be part of the hospitality team. We had this code 3 thing that if we saw somebody, an older adult, coming unexpectedly, and we of course had a busy household with toddlers and babies and elementary age and up to junior high age, so I would say code 3 if somebody was driving in the driveway and one of the children would welcome him into the living room door, which is usually a little bit more set up for guests, and then another child would fill up some glasses of water and on a tray and be ready to serve that. And another one would be just kind of tidying up some of our school activity things that are done in the big kitchen front room. So just help them to be part of the team, and if they're old enough to trust offering water or a little snack if it's not a mealtime, give them the fun of being part of that. And besides people coming to your home, and there's other ways too that you can help your children have positive interactions with older people and feel comfortable with that. One is plan outings to assisted living homes. One thing that we did early on is that we would dress the kids up in like a Mary and a Joseph and a shepherd, and we would go to assisted living homes after the initial breakfast for Christmas morning. And I think we mentioned in the memorizing section that we would learn part of the Christmas story. We would memorize that, just part of their good morning or after breakfast 5, and so they could go dressed up and recite that and sing a song, and the people were delighted with that, especially people that were left alone and didn't have anybody come visit them. So that was one thing you could do. Also, you could visit shut-ins in your church, and maybe just bring a picture that the child has drawn, or some tasty thing that that person would enjoy. So that was another thing. And also invite older guests to your home, like missionaries. They can tell about the country that they are from and what it's like to be a child there, and just exposing the world. It kind of makes the world a little closer that way. And there's some Bible verses that are helpful too in training your children. I taught kindergarten, first and second at different times before I was married. And if an adult came into the room, I had trained the children in my class to stand up. And that was based on this verse, Proverbs 16:31. It says, the hoary, and that's kind of like snow-capped, icy head, is a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness. And it was interesting, and also this verse, Leviticus 19:32, thou shalt rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man and fear thy God. I am the Lord. And that was something the Lord, of course, said. I remember one time I was sitting next to one of my children. We were homeschooling, and I was teaching them something, and they looked up at me and they say, Mom, I see a gray hair. And I says, do you know what that means? And they said, what? I says, that means if I've been a Christian and know the Lord, and I've lived a long time to have gray hairs, that I should have a lot of wisdom, and you can ask me questions. And the little child sat there for a while and says, you can ask Dad lots of questions. So anyway, it's not something to be ashamed of to have gray hair. I more do it for economic reasons, but the Bible says in Proverbs 16:31, the hoary head is a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness. When I was teaching those grades, if an adult came in the room, I would go like this, like a choir director, and like this, and the children knew what that meant. It meant to stand up, because the Bible said to stand up before the hoary head. So train your children these things, teach them the Bible story, teach them how God says that they're to rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man. So that's important to God. It's important for us to teach respect to our children and to model it for them also. So I'm hoping that this is helpful for you, and you can be thinking about how to help children be comfortable interacting with older people, and also to be a blessing to those people.
Thank you again for watching and sticking with us for 25 episodes. And so next time, Mom will share the topic coming up.
Yes, we're going to start thinking about the coming holiday season and maybe how you can make the most of that with your children.
Okay, well, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again soon.
So long!
Bye.